Come, you hungry seals and salmon, come the herring spawn. The ocean blooms with melt and roe. It comes alive, the sea and sky. And when the frenzy fades and color dims to gray, then silently the fish, fins and feathers slip away.
This weekend, I had the unforgettable experience of attending the 2026 Herring Festival on Hornby Island in beautiful British Columbia. After a rainy drive up the island and 2 rocky ferry rides, we made it to the film night to kick off the film festival. When we arrived at our campsite later that evening, we realized we were sleeping beside a noisy Steller's and California sea lion colony. We thought maybe they would quieten down as the sky fell darker, but they actually kept this up the whole evening and into the morning. Stepping out the tent the next morning, we were greeted with dozens of flying juvenile and adult eagles. We realized that we didn't have to drive far to get to the herring spawn. It was all happening right below us. We headed into town to grab some coffee and warm up after spending the night in temps around 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Or for my Canadian friends and anyone else that's not American, around 3 to 5 degrees Celsius. We wanted to tour as much of the island as we could, which wasn't hard to do as small as it ended up being. But this little community is filled with bays and ocean lookouts, and from seagulls to herons, and to herring eggs covering seaweed washing up on shore, the coastline had become fully alive in the light of the spawn.
I'd go for a little swim out there.
I broke out my snorkeling gear and wanted to see what I could find under the water. But the clarity ended up being way too murky, and the sea lions were letting us know that we better get out of their way and keep the herring to themselves. On Saturday night, we headed to the herring ball, which we realized we were quite underdressed for compared to the locals who went all out with their outfits. On Sunday morning, we woke up from spending the evening hunkering down from the rain. The rain honestly drowned out the sea lions, and our tent held up pretty well, and I survived the night even though there was a blanket thief in the midst. Some seagulls clocked our tent, which made drying off and packing an extra great experience. We were surprised to find all the boats had cleared out overnight and wondered if the herring had moved or perhaps reached their fishing quota. We took some time to head down to meet the colony that was our neighbors all weekend long, and they proved to be quite the rascally little bunch, making lots of barking noises, yawning, scratching themselves, snuggling, and very much aggressively fighting whenever one got in the other's way that didn't want that one to be there. We really enjoyed our time at our campground, which was surprising to me as someone who tends to avoid more private campgrounds. It was called Bradsdadsland, and yes, you heard that right, and it is one word long, so make sure to book a campsite there during your next visit up island. We finished our Hornby visit with a trip to an art show where local artists submitted works on all things herring. I loved seeing the mixed media pieces all curated together, which just shows how many ways there are to represent the meaning and beauty we find all around us in nature.